Let's discuss the positioning of air source heat pumps. We'll start by exploring recommendations and best practices, and then look at some of the rules and regulations around heat pump placement. The first basic rule is to ensure a good volume of airflow. A heat pump relies on good airflow for efficient operation. You should ensure it has adequate space and is free from obstructions that can potentially limit its airflow, as this can compromise its efficiency and performance. Worst case scenario, poor airflow can cause system malfunctions. As a second recommendation, which follows on from the first, the heat pump should be situated with enough space around it. This allows for easy access all around the appliance to carry out servicing. The unit should be situated on a solid level base, or if applicable, follow the manufacturer's wall mounting instructions. Locating the heat pump to minimise the length of primary pipework runs, particularly the external sections of the pipework, and keeping these primary pipes to a minimal possible length can improve the efficiency and performance of the system, as well as reducing installation complexity and cost. The next factor to consider is condensation, which occurs during normal heat pump operation, as warmer outside air is drawn over the evaporator containing significantly cooler refrigerant. The large amount of condensation is perfectly normal. Consequently, it's crucial to ensure the heat pump siting allows for adequate condensate disposal. If space allows, you can opt for a soakaway installation. This involves creating a drainage system designed to absorb and disperse condensate from a heat pump into the ground. Alternatively, you can pipe a condensate run into a rainwater gully or drain. For boiler installers, please note, as there is sometimes confusion, this condensate is not produced during a combustion process and is not acidic in nature. On a heat pump, we just need to make sure condensation does not cause a nuisance such as freezing pathways. Let's now move on to the rules and regulations around heat pump and installation siting. Heat pumps are considered to be a permitted development, not requiring planning permission provided certain conditions and limits are met. A few of these main conditions currently are: the installation must comply with MCS planning standards MCS 020. The volume of the heat pump's outdoor unit must not exceed 0.6 cubic metres. Only the first installation of a heat pump at that property is classed as permitted development, meaning if the property was to need or want a second heat pump, there would be a requirement for planning permission. All parts of the heat pump must be at least 1 metre from the boundary for England and Scotland. This is currently 3 metres for installation in Wales. Installations on pitched roofs will not qualify for permitted development. Installations on flat roofs can qualify, but the heat pump must be situated at least 1 metre from the external edge of the roof. It's important to mention here that the government has been in a consultation period since February 2024 with the goal of easing certain regulations regarding permitted development. For any rules relating to planning, please refer to the appropriate industry guidance documents. There are also rules around positioning of a heat pump in relation to noise. Modern air source heat pumps are far quieter than some older models when the legislation was created. Heat pumps are not noisy. In fact, our Logic Air range has been certified with a quiet mark and is one of the quietest heat pumps on the market. But correctly positioning a heat pump can further minimise noise for the immediate and adjacent properties. This is no different to when we consider the flue termination of a boiler so that it doesn't cause nuisance issues. When considering the placement of a heat pump, it's advisable to avoid positioning it near windows, particularly those of habitable rooms. Habitable rooms are defined as any room within a property, excluding the kitchen, shower room, bathroom or WC. Basically, rooms you would sleep or spend time sitting in. Additionally, it may be beneficial to keep the heat pump away from the outdoor seating areas that occupants might use, and potential areas where children may frequently play. However, the main regulations around noise relate to neighbouring properties to the installation. On installation, the engineer must carry out a noise assessment as per MCS standard 020. This entails measuring a noise level of the heat pump from a distance of 1 metre from the nearest window or door of habitable rooms in neighbouring properties. This is known as the assessment position. There is a relatively simple 10-step process which will calculate the noise level from this assessment position. If the result is equal to or below 42 decibels, it will qualify as a permitted development. If the noise level exceeds 42 decibels, you may need to explore alternative installation locations or apply for planning permission. While planning authorities may still approve the installation, it's important to note that obtaining planning permission can be a lengthy process. On first listen, this may seem like a lot of recommendations and requirements, but I would advise you to re-watch this video and make notes on the points we have listed. To quickly recap them, make sure the heat pump has good airflow around it. It needs easy access for service and maintenance. Try position the heat pump to minimise primary pipework runs, especially external sections. Consider your options for condensate disposal. Clarify that the installation falls under permitted development. And finally, carry out a noise calculation as per MCS for neighbouring properties. Please also remember to consult the manufacturer's requirements for the specific heat pump, as some requirements and dimensions will vary.